On this WrestleTalk news, Vince McMahon loves Doudrop, AEW stars want Chad Gable, my Raw review and more. Subscribe to WrestleTalk for daily wrestling news videos so you too can be like Buddy Murphy.
I would go on YouTube, and I think it's called WrestleTalk or something like that, and they would review the show in 5 minutes. That's how I kept up with the product. I couldn't watch it.
He thinks it's called WrestleTalk. I'll take that!
Support WrestleTalk!
One of the many terrible things in Raw's women's division right now has been the return of Eva Marie, who in turn debuted her protege, the former Piper Niven from NXT UK, now being called Doudrop, because not enough wrestler names sound like Pokemon. Doudrop, 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 Doudrop. Doudrop? The storyline has been poorly received by fans. Initially with frustration over WWE completely ignoring Doudrop's NXT UK run, and now with Raw starting their breakup in only the act's second week. But there is one fan of the storyline, and they're arguably the only one who truly matters. Vince McMahon. PW Insider is reporting that McMahon loves the end goal of the program, presumably meaning someone's getting covered in dog food. However, interestingly, he wasn't too keen on the proposed story before it started. But after the first week, McMahon was sold and was very high on Doudrop's character, meaning there's going to be a lot more storyline development with these characters in the weeks ahead. What do you think about Doudrop and Eva Marie's storyline? Let me know in the comments down below, because I'll be replying to as many people as I can for the first 30 minutes after this video goes live from out of nowhere. Unless you're Buddy Murphy, in which case I'll reply to you whenever. I'm a sycophant. Speaking of Vince being high on wrestlers backstage segue, remember Shorty G? AEW's Dax Harwood tweeted back in March that Chad Gable isn't allowed to respond to me publicly for about 2 more months. This prompted many to speculate Gable's WWE contract expired in May of this year, but now it's July. According to Fightful Select, Dax's tweet was only a joke and Gable's contract has plenty of time left on it. But Fightful does note several AEW stars would push heavily to get him in the company if Gable becomes available. For the last few weeks on NXT, a teaser vignette has been playing of a phone battery very slowly charging up. PW Insider is now claiming these are to tease the return of Tegan Nox, which could be happening imminently, with the latest clip showing the battery at 81%. But if that's anything like my phone, it will die in the next hour. It was also noted that Nox was backstage at Raw in the latest batch of NXT talent to have dark matches and main event tapings, seemingly in preparation for main roster call-ups, wrestling a dark match against Toni Storm, while Karrion Kross taped another main event match against Drew Gulak. So maybe Tegan Nox will debut on the main roster before she even has a chance to return to NXT. Make WrestleTalk.com your homepage for loads of other big wrestling news stories while I review last night's episode of Raw in about 5 minutes. Hey buddy. Thanks for your support on Patreon, the Kessel Run DX Solo, and the Cyclone Brandon Sayers. WWE can't even do 3-week pushes right anymore. After 2 weeks of decent-ish TV, easily the best episodes of the year so far because of how bad everything else has been, Raw went right back to its crappy worst this week, opening on a formulaic Miz TV segment for all the Raw Money in the Bank ladder match competitors, which involved Drew McIntyre now claiming to be related to Davy Crockett. So Scottish history isn't enough for you anymore, Drew. You've got to culturally appropriate other countries. Cancel him! Please cancel this character! WWE are turning McIntyre into one of the worst promos in the company. Ricochet, an incredibly annoying character, albeit a great wrestler. John Morrison, an incredibly annoying character, albeit a great wrestler. And The Miz, an incredibly annoying character. At least Riddle is still somehow saving whatever segment he's involved in, sitting on top of the ladder because that's what people do in these skits, right? And dedicating his Money in the Bank match to Randy Orton like Randy was dead.
Can you remember the tallest man you've ever seen?
Amos. Him and AJ Styles interrupted to take out Riddle because they're heels this week. The babyfaces cleared house, and then we got Ricochet versus John Morrison Part 2. This had some great spots, including an amazing pinning combination from Morrison, but Ricochet lost via countout when Miz stopped him getting back into the ring in time, which the referee really shouldn't have allowed. As great as these two are together, it's lazy to book them in matches on back-to-back weeks, and even lazier to do it again next Monday where they'll have a Falls Count Anywhere stipulation. Asuka, Naomi, Nikki Ash and Alexa Bliss taking on Shayna Baszler, Nia Jax, Eva Marie and Doudrop actually started out quite fun, with all the baby faces hitting their moves early on. Unfortunately, the women's division cannot escape the terrible storylines that underpin them all, and it ended with Bliss hypnotizing Reginald. Why doesn't she hypnotize her actual opponents? And Nia pinning Nikki while Eva Marie announced herself as the winner. Mustafa Ali beat Mansoor after pretending to be injured. Another life lesson from Ali, preparing Mansoor for a life of disappointment and quick losses on main event. The Canadian-Indian badass Jinder Mahal then turned up backstage on his custom motorcycle to cut a promo how he's mad at Drew because he texted him saying he's too busy, with the number 2 not having the decency to write out the full T-O-O word. And somehow, that wasn't even the worst promo for their match. Drew then reached peak stereotype, cutting a promo on his family sword's origins and how it once slayed the Loch Ness Monster. Awful character work aside, at least when the bell rings, Drew can get a very good match out of anyone. I thought. Drew and Jinder have history, sure, but it's actually not that significant. They were in a comedy job act, and Jinder hasn't been built up at all since his return. The action felt pretty slow, the pace of 10 years ago, and had a crappy finish when Indus caused the DQ. Jinder then stole Drew's family sword, which meant nothing because it had been already devalued with the Loch Ness Monster bollocks.
Can you remember the tallest man you've ever seen?
T-Bar and Mace. But even that couldn't stop them losing to a surprise Lucha House Party roll-up. Say what you want about Damian Priest, at least his character is consistent. Before, he was a guy who can talk to Bad Bunny for exposition purposes. And now he's a guy who can talk to Riddle for exposition purposes. AJ Styles worked over Riddle's ankle in their match afterwards, which Matt sold really well. There was a call out to Randy with a draping DDT, but yet another lame finish where the Viking Raiders caused a distraction by doing absolutely nothing, helping Riddle get the surprise roll-up. In what might be one of the worst segments of the year, Charlotte Flair was then in the ring on a booking crutch, faking an injury after Rhea Ripley used Charlotte's own chop block move against her last week. Rhea then came out, also obnoxiously faking the same injury. They both revealed they were just pretending, and then had a brief lightsaber battle. The idea is that Ripley can beat Flair at her own game. The problem is that they both come across as incredibly unlikable heels. This is terrible TV. We then got Elias and Cedric Alexander tagging against Jackson Ryker and R-Truth, a match that never really happened because Truth got distracted by 24/7 champion Akira Tozawa being chased into the ring by Drew Gulak, Humberto Carrillo, who was later announced to be fighting Sheamus for the United States title next week. Oh boy, I can't wait for that one. I really buy Carrillo as someone who can beat Sheamus now. Angel Garza and Shelton Goddamn Benjamin. Shelton Goddamn Benjamin ran into the ring right past Cedric, a man he was in a fierce blood feud with just last month, and didn't even give him a glance. So besotted was he with the joke 24/7 championship belt. There is a hierarchy of significance, and this segment just put a whole load of stuff underneath the least important thing in the company. Truth then left the match to chase the title too, leaving Jackson Ryker in a handicap match where he won in a minute when Elias also just backed off. Ryker pins Cedric. WWE know the optics of this, right? And the main event was New Day versus Bobby Ashley and MVP, a total filler match to pass the time between now and Money in the Bank, which I feel actually lessened the Kofi versus Bobby heat. Woods returning devalues the injury angle from the Raw Hell in a Cell 2 weeks ago and completely ignores the central theme of this story. Can Kofi succeed without the positivity of his friends? Additionally, I think MVP should just be kept to a managerial role. I don't think him wrestling adds anything to the act. Kofi pinned him to win. What did you think of Raw? Let me know in the comments down below and vote in our poll on a poll match on the community tab, where 65% of you have gone for Raw's 3-week pushes over early. I thought this was a boring episode that actively damaged a lot of feuds. This week's Raw is 2 out of 5 poor. Remember to make WrestleTalk.com your homepage for all the latest wrestling news, and watch Adam Blompier's latest list on Parts Unknown, 10 WWE wrestlers who fought back against Backstage hazing. Here's a clip.
Pranks are fine, then Justin Roberts having his passport stolen and not given back to him so that he missed a flight, that's not really a prank, that's just you being a dick. Until a wind of change blew through WWE in the 2010s, and we'll get to that, hazing of newer talent by veterans went unpunished in the company.